All right, so let's dive into something that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Okay.
Finding shoes that actually fit right. And I'm talking specifically about those of us who have narrower feet.
Yeah.
We always hear about, people with wider feet needing to find certain shoes.
Mm.
But what about us narrow-footed folks?
Yeah, absolutely.
You get that feeling where the shoe's just a little too roomy, your foot slides around,
Mhm.
and you end up with blisters or just sore spots.
For sure. For sure.
So this deep dive is going to be all about be-with shoes.
Okay.
What they are, why they matter, and how to find the perfect pair, especially for men, because that's a whole other
Yeah, that's deep.
beast.
It is. And it's something that a lot of men just don't even think about, you know?
Right.
They just assume that shoes are kind of one size fits all when it comes to width. But there are options out there.
So true.
And B width is considered narrow for men's shoes, and it can really make a difference, like you were saying, in terms of comfort and even foot health.
Absolutely. Okay, so for those of us who are hearing this be-with thing for the first time,
Yeah.
what exactly are we talking about here?
So, when you think about the shoes that you typically see on the shelves, most of those are going to be D width,
Okay,
which is like the average width.
gotcha.
B width is a step narrower than that.
Okay.
So they're specifically designed for people with narrower feet.
So it's not just about going down a size, it's about the actual...
Exactly.
Flow.
The whole shape of the shoe is different.
Interesting.
So you'll have less volume in the upper part of the shoe, a slimmer toe box, and a snugger heel area.
That's like a tailored fit almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's hugging the contours of your foot a little bit more.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it that way. So if you've ever felt like you're swimming in your shoes, even if the length seems right,
Yeah,
you might be a be-with candidate.
you might be. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're talking about the fit, but what are the actual benefits of wearing be-with shoes besides just feeling more snug?
Right. So when your shoes fit properly, your feet are properly supported.
Okay.
And that can lead to better stability and alignment.
Oh, interesting.
If you think about a shoe that's too wide, it allows your foot to kind of move around excessively,
Right.
which can lead to instability and even increase your risk of injuries.
So it's not just about comfort. It's about
Yeah,
preventing...
exactly. It's about preventing problems down the line.
Okay.
So wearing the correct width can help reduce the risk of things like blisters and calluses and even more serious issues like plantar fasciitis.
Okay, so we're talking about long-term foot health here.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah.
All right, so where do we find these magical be-with shoes? Are we talking about specialty stores, custom orders?
Well, you don't have to go to extremes, but it does require you to be a little bit more aware when you're shopping for shoes.
Okay.
Some brands are known for offering a better selection of be-with shoes for men than others.
Okay.
SAS and Propet, for example, are two brands that I know consistently offer be-with options.
Yep.
And a lot of online retailers like DT Footwear will often have dedicated sections for narrow widths.
Okay, good to know. So any tips for actually navigating the shoe shopping process?
Yeah.
It can be so overwhelming as it is,
Sure.
even without the added challenge of trying to find a specific width.
Yeah, so a few things to keep in mind. First, get your feet measured later in the day
Might make it.
when they tend to be a little bit more swollen.
That makes sense.
That'll give you the most accurate size.
Right.
And if you can find a Brannick device.
A Brannick device.
Yeah, it's a metal measuring device that a lot of shoe stores will have.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, and that measures both length and width, so it can be really helpful.
Okay.
And the other thing to remember is that width designations can vary slightly between brands.
Oh, it's tricky.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to try on different sizes and different styles to see what feels best for you.
So trial and error is still part of the game.
Yeah, to some extent, yes. But at least knowing that B-width exists and that it might be the key to better fit and comfort,
Okay.
you're already a step ahead.
Right. You know what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can walk into a store or browse online with a clearer sense of what to ask for.
I love it. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the why.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the how. What are some specific be-with shoes that you'd recommend? Let's get into some specifics then.
Yeah. Sure.
What are some models that really stand out?
Okay, so let's say you're looking for an everyday shoe, something versatile.
Okay.
The SS Rocky Shore is a great option.
Okay.
It's made with durable leather, so you know it's going to hold up.
Right.
And it has a breathable mesh lining, which is really important.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely had those shoes where my feet are just
Yeah, you don't want that.
sweating.
No, especially if you're active or you live somewhere warm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good everyday option.
Yeah.
What about for the guy who's, always on the move,
Yeah.
walking a lot?
Yeah. So for that, I would recommend the Propet Stability X.
Okay.
It's a really nice walking shoe. It's got a gel heel pad and some deep cushioning. So it's going to be really comfortable, even if you're on your feet all day.
Those both sound great for, like, general wear, but what about for the guy who maybe needs a little extra support?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he has flat feet or some foot pain.
Yeah, so for that, I would say check out the Propet Stability Walker.
Okay.
It has a steel shank built in for arch support,
Wow.
which can be really helpful if you have flat feet or plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
And it also has a firm heel counter, which helps to prevent your foot from rolling inward.
So it's like extra stability.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a good one to keep in mind. Now, we've been talking a lot about athletic shoes, walking shoes,
Right.
but what about something a bit more dressed up?
Yeah,
For the guy who needs to wear a dressier shoe but still wants that be-with fit?
for sure. So SAS actually has a really nice loafer. It's
Okay.
called the Step Slip-On.
Okay.
It's got that classic loafer look, but it also has SAS's tripad technology in the insole, so it's super comfortable.
So you don't have to sacrifice comfort for style.
Exactly.
I like that. And then what about for the guy who maybe has trouble bending down to tie his shoes
Right.
or just prefer something really simple?
Yeah, so for that, the SAS High Street V is a great option.
Okay.
It's got a Velcro closure, so it's really easy to slip on and off.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it still has that nice, soft, breathable leather.
It's great that there are so many options out there for different needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it really highlights how important it is to find that right fit.
It is. And, men with narrower feet, they deserve to have comfortable, stylish shoes just like everyone else.
Right.
It's just about knowing what to look for and advocating for yourself.
Okay. So we've seen some great examples now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how to actually find your perfect be-with shoe.
Okay. Well, I think a big part of it is just being proactive.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask questions when you're shoe shopping.
Right.
Specifically, ask if they have be with options.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they might have them in the back or something.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think a lot of guys just assume that what they see is what they get.
Yeah, and that's not always the case. You
Right.
really have to advocate for your needs and not just settle for shoes that sort of fit.
Yeah. Once you know that a better fit exists, why would you go back?
Exactly.
You know?
Right, it makes a huge difference.
And it's not just about comfort either.
Right.
It's about taking care of your feet in the long run.
Exactly. Wearing properly fitted shoes can prevent so many problems down the road.
Mhm.
Blisters, calluses,
Yeah.
plantar fasciitis, even back pain can be related to your shoes.
It's amazing how something as simple as shoe width can impact your overall health.
It really is.
Yeah.
Something that we often overlook,
So true.
especially men. I think we tend to prioritize convenience over fit.
It's true.
But it's time to change that.
So what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive into be-with shoes?
I just hope they realize that finding the right fit is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And it is possible, with a little knowledge and a willingness to be more discerning.
Absolutely.
You can find shoes that are both comfortable and stylish.
Well said.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
We talked about what be-with means. We looked at some specific shoe recommendations and some shopping tips.
Absolutely. It's been great chatting about this with you.
Likewise.
Hopefully our listeners feel a bit more empowered now to find their perfect fit.
Absolutely. And guys, remember, foot size can change over time, so don't be afraid to get your feet measured regularly and try different widths. You might be surprised.
Good point. It's an ongoing journey.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to lace up and step into the world of be-with shoes.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.